The USMNT striker pool seems to be an ever-growing wonder, but in this video we slimmed it down and we're going to rank them. So without further ado, let's get to it. Guys, if you're new here and you guys love MLS and USA soccer content, you came to the right place. And to stay in the right place, be sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, I mean, why not just hit the like button? You're there anyway. It just makes sense. So here on the screen, you will see a nice little graphic brought to you by USMNT only on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Be sure you guys follow him down below. He is the freaking godfather of all USMNT content on any social media. So shout out to him for letting me use this graphic here. But I just figured this is the list of strikers that I believe, and I'm sure all of you believe, is going to be like interested, or we're all going to be watching along this season to see who makes the Gold Cup, who will make a Nations League, and who will perform the best in their clubs, and of course ultimately who will perform the most for the USMNT in any of these tournaments coming up this year. So, like I said, in this video, we're going to rank all these strikers from number 14 all the way to number 1. This is definitely in order in my perspective, so my opinion will be different than yours, so don't have a freaking panic attack. It's just my opinion. Now, the only striker we're not going to list on this list is Uhhhhhhh, because he is playing technically for Canada recently. He's kind of like on the fence. Will he play for USA or Canada? We don't know yet, so for that reason, I kind of just blurred him out here, just kind of X-nayed him here, over here. But everyone else, fair game, so let's just get to it. Starting up at number 14, working our way up, we're going to go ahead and list Ricardo Pepe. Now, before you guys have a freaking panic attack, I do rate Ricardo Pepe highly. He is on my list of players to watch this season in MLS that you guys can check out on the channel. I'll leave a link down below. Be sure you guys check that out. There's a lot of good young prospects there for the USMNT in every position. But Ricardo Pepe, he's the only player on this list that I don't think really had any senior level experience besides that 1 or 2 national team games he did play under Greg Berhalter recently late last year. But other than that, he's really not in the mix for FC Dallas' first team, really not yet so far this season. Last year, really not too much. He's just really not a guy who has a lot of senior level caps or senior level games under his belt. I want to see more of him this year, and I'm definitely going to be following FC Dallas closely because they have a lot of other players that I do want to keep an eye on this season. But for right now, Ricardo Pepe, because of the lack of senior level experience, that is why he's on here. Not because I don't think he's good. I think he's going to be better than half of these guys on this list. So on to number 13. Speaking of potential, number 13, it brings us Sebastian Soto. Now, Sebastian Soto is a guy that, made a debut for the senior national team late last year, in that crazy game, end of the year. He just scored a bunch of goals. He came on, scored 2 goals in the second half. But after that, we all hyped him up. But then after that, it seemed like he really kind of just fell off, especially after that Olympic qualifier tournament where he really just seemed like a totally different striker. I really rated myself, Sebastian Soto, pretty highly up there on our striker list back in the day, late last year. But after that Olympic qualifier run, I was shocked. I was disappointed. I was surprised, but I want to see more from him. I want to see him recover. He's really not playing any first team with his current club, Norwich City, but they just got promoted to the Premier League. Maybe he could be playing some Premier League soccer next year. I don't know. I hope he gets some more games at the end of this year, end of this season for Norwich City, considering they will win promotion to the Premier League automatically, and they could most likely win the second division championship anyway. So why not give Sebastian Soto some chances or some minutes there as well? But for right now, he's an unlucky number 13. Speaking of mismatch potential, let's go ahead to number 12, Jeremy Ebobisse, who plays for Portland Timbers in MLS. Now, Ebobisse is a guy who I think really had a strong MLS's back tournament with Portland Timbers, who did end up winning that tournament. I think he was one of, if not the biggest standout for Portland in that tournament. He scored a couple of goals, gave some assists, played really well, impressed me, impressed a lot of people, really got his name in the mix of USMNT strikers. But after that, he had a decent, maybe subpar season with Portland Timbers, disappointed playoff run for them last year. I want to see more from him in this season in MLS. I want to see him kind of, find that form he had in the MLS's back tournament last year. But for right now, he's at number 12. Let's head over to France now to talk about number 12, Nicolas Giacchino, who plays for SM Caen in France's second division. Now, this is a guy also, kind of like Sebastian Soto, who did make his first debut for the U.S. senior team late last year in 2020 against Wales. He played 10 minutes there, but then after that, at the game against Panama, he played 77 minutes and scored 2 goals in that match to throw in his name into the big, growing USMNT striker pool hat. But after that, I feel like he kind of really just fell off. He could play at wingers as well as center forward. Recently, he has played as a winger under Greg Berhalter in the most recent game against Jamaica. He did have an assist there. But after that, for his club level, he is doing, I think, for the most part, from what I've seen, is pretty good, but not enough for me to rank him higher than a lot of guys on this list. Just making the top 10 list right here is Jesus Ferreira from FC Dallas. Now, this guy is another guy who played really well for the USMNT, but against opposition who really weren't at their best. I believe he scored a hat-trick and had a hat-trick assist against Trinidad and Tobago recently for the USMNT, but we all know that game was not a game to really judge a lot of our players too seriously because it was against a team that was not prepared. It was not a good quality team, with all due respect to them. But Jesus Ferreira, again, another player plagued by that terrible Olympic qualifier tournament for the USMNT youth team. I expected a lot more from him. I know he had a goal in the first opening game, but it wasn't like a nice goal. It wasn't like a promising goal, and that was all he did. He really flopped in that tournament, as well as Sebastian Soto. Just a big flop, and it really lowered his stock and his name and value in the striker list for USMNT strikers. So number 10 it is for Jesus Ferreira. Coming in now at number 9, everyone's favorite USMNT veteran. That, of course, is Jozy Altidore. Now, say what you will about him, but he is our third highest ever goal scorer for the for the USA national team. He's done a lot in the past, but again, that is the past. The future is the future, and a lot of these guys on this list are fighting to be our future Jozy Altidore, or our future better than Jozy Altidore. And a lot of these guys have the potential to be even light years better than Jozy. But for right now, I rank him right now at number 9. I feel like he's basically, for the most part, a little better than everyone else I talked about before on this list. But what I need from Jozy is to really be fit more. I need him to score more goals in MLS for Toronto. I need to see more production from him on the field in general this season. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on him to see if he's really going to earn his spot in the Gold Cup or Nations League or qualifiers this year. And we should all be keeping an eye on Jozy Altidore this season as well. So number 9 it is. Here at number 8 is a striker that I kind of forgot about, and I'm sure a lot of you guys also forgot about, and I want to see more of him. I was impressed by his stats, and that, of course, is Andre Novakovich, who right now plays for the 2nd division in Italy. He plays for Frosinone. I probably really just messed up that name, but I'm sorry. That's his club team right now. He's got 7 goals, 4 assists in 29 appearances so far this season for his Italian team. He plays primarily, or just in general, as a center forward for his team, and he does have three caps for the senior national team. But other than that, the last time we saw him was all the way back in October of 2018, which is a 2-4 loss against Colombia. But he's racking up some goals. He's one of the main starters for his club right now. He's putting in the game time. He's trying to help them get promoted. He does have goals and assists racking up. I think the last time he scored was March 6th, 2021 against Cosenza in a 2-1 victory for his team as a center forward as well. I think a guy we all should really be keeping an eye on this coming year to see if he can progress his game more and maybe earn himself a spot in the Nations League or Gold Cup. I don't know. Most likely the Gold Cup, though. At number 7 here, speaking of forgotten strikers, let's go ahead and talk about Haji Wright. This guy, first of all, he's playing in the Danish division, Danish league, the first tier of that. I don't know his club, how to pronounce his club's team name, so I'm just going to put it right here. This is where he plays right now. So do with that what you will. He is in the playoff spot with his team right now. He's helped them get there. He does have 7 goals, 2 assists in 19 appearances so far for his team in this tournament. He has not made any senior national team debuts at all. But get this, here's a fun fact about Haji Wright. He does have 27 goals in 34 appearances for the USA under 17. I mean, that was only back in 2013 when he was a young teen, but still, that is some crazy numbers right there to think about. But still, he's only 23 years old, still very young. Still, I feel like he kind of got forgotten about. Well, he did get forgotten about for years now, but he is playing consistently well for his team. He's consistently a starter for his team. His team really not the best team. I see they're losing a lot so far, but they are still in the playoff division. He just recently had an assist last couple weeks ago. I hope he can continue his form of scoring goals. I want to see him in the mix more. I want to see him rejuvenate that U17 form and bring it to his current senior form. That will be like absolutely phenomenal. But right now, this is where I rank him at. So now we reach number 6 here, but before we get to that, I have to just say, number 6 and up in ranking, I feel like it's just solidified and set in stone for me until further notice, but everyone under that, you can kind of mix them around any way, shape, or form, because I feel like they're irreversible. For right now, number 6 and up is, to me, solidified no matter what. And before we get started, be sure you guys follow my Twitter and my Instagram down below in the description box, or maybe on the screen if I feel like putting it. If not, it just means I was too lazy. So number 6 is Matthew Hoppe. I know a lot of you guys love Matthew Hoppe because he scored like 2 goals in like 2 games, but I don't rank him that high. Obviously, I rank him higher than a lot of these guys on here, but for the most part, Matthew Hoppe came on the scene, scored 3 goals, scored a hat-trick against Hoffenheim. We're all having like freaking panic attack seeing this teenager score goals in the Bundesliga. People are like, oh, forget about Josh Sargent, we got Matthew Hoppe now. But you know what? Scored a goal again against Frankfurt in the game after that, and then scored another goal again after that against FC Köln in the Bundesliga as well. So 4 goals in 3 appearances. That was crazy. We're like, this guy's gonna be, yeah, I love his work rate, I love the way he plays. But then after that, he didn't do literally anything. No goals, no assists. He's on the bench sometimes, and that's it. Obviously, his team sucks, okay? Schalke is like the worst team right now in the Bundesliga. They're atrocious. I'm so glad Weston McKennie left that team. I really wanted Matthew Hoppe to also leave the team, but I think he just signed a new deal recently that keeps him on the team until 2023. So we're just gonna have to cross our fingers if someone comes in and makes a good offer for him. But for right now, number 6 is good. I feel like everyone ahead of him deserves to be ahead of him. So let's just get to that top 5. Oh man, number 5 though. You guys are wondering where Zaria's gonna rank. It's gonna be number 1. This guy's crazy. Nah, bro. He's number 5. Yazi Zaria is, for me, an okay striker. He's a great MLS striker, but for the national team, he's really not the strongest. But I do feel like he is on a different level this season. Columbus Crew obviously doing great, becoming a really big juggernaut this season. Of course, having a great campaign so far in the CCL. A lot of people have picked them to win the MLS Cup again this year. Me, myself, as one of those people. And Zaria is going to be the heart of attack for that team. So if he has a really good campaign, I would not be surprised if he plays Gold Cup, maybe even Nations League, and definitely, of course, World Cup qualifying for Greg Berhalter. So for right now, I feel like number 5 is pretty accurate for Zaria. And of course, it could change, but for right now, number 5 it is. Coming in here at number 4 is my boy Jordan Sayabachu, who plays right now in the Swiss League for BSC Young Boys. He's got 10 goals, 4 assists, and 27 appearances for the league, and he's also got a couple goals as well in the Europa League for his club. He recently just decided to represent the USMNT over France. He is a dual national, but he chose us, which I'm happy for. I love adding more strikers to our list. He's got 2 appearances recently, of course, in the most recent March camp under Greg Berhalter. But I really like this guy. I like the way his work rate. I like the way he scores goals. Obviously, he's scoring goals in a Europa League, which is a good competition, better than MLS, better than a lot of other leagues that these guys are playing in currently. For the most part, he is on loan to the Swiss League. He does play in his parent club is French side Stade Rennes in League One. So I feel like having a good campaign right now in the Swiss League could have him become a big player in his parent club if they decide to keep him next season. We'll see, but for right now, number 4 it is for Jordan. Number 3 is everyone's favorite striker right now, Daryl Dike from Orlando City, on loan to Barnsley in the 2nd division of English soccer. Daryl Dike is a freaking beast tank, guys. He went to Barnsley and it was the most random transfer of all time, I feel like. I was like, Barnsley? I was like, who? I feel like nobody even knows about Barnsley in the USA, but guess what? Now they do, baby, because Daryl Dike is over there knocking people over, scoring goals. He had some trouble setting in the first couple of games, but now I feel like he's scoring almost every other game. He's a starter almost every other game. He really works his way into that first team lineup, and I am so proud of him. I like that. He's got a really big ceiling for the USMNT, and what I like is he really wants to challenge himself. He wants to play at the highest level. He's recently came out and said he wants to play Champions League. He wants to play in the biggest leagues around the world. I love that. I think he's got the potential. He's got to work on his technical ability and skill level there, but for the most part, he is looking like a really, really solid striker for us. And number 3, it is for me. Number 1 and 2, who's it going to be? Where's Josh Sargent going to be? Number 1 and number 2? But for your boy Drew, it's gotta be number 2 because Josh Sargent is everyone's favorite #1 striker for the USMNT and mine as well. But the guy ahead of him can also play in the wings, and if he plays striker, for me, I think he should play over Josh Sargent. Am I wrong? Probably, but it's my channel. I can say whatever I want. Josh Sargent, everybody knows he needs to leave Werder Bremen. He needs to leave that team. Like, that team is not good for him. He gets no good support there, no good balls fed into him. Like, he has no support there from his team. He's got good hold-up play. He tracks back a lot. He's a really good striker overall. I just want to see him be able to show that with a team that's able to provide him the service that he needs. But number 2 is for Josh Sargent because number 1 for me is Timothy Weah. Like I said, Timothy Weah could play on the wings mostly. He probably will mostly play on the wings for the USMNT, but he's listed as a striker here from USMNT only, so I'm going to use him as reference. And Timothy Weah is right now my go-to striker if there was a game tomorrow. I'm going Timothy Weah because he's proven himself. He's playing at the highest level in the French league. He's competing with PSG to win that League 1 title. He is really helping his team compete for that title. I was hard on Timothy Weah back in the day. He was very injury prone. He probably could be still, but he's looking good right now. Fingers crossed. And Timothy Weah, for me, our #1 striker. Are you guys mad? Probably. But that's it, guys. That is my list. How triggered are you? Let me know down below. Of course, if you want to see me rank other positions for the USMNT, like midfield, defender, etc., let me know down below. I like making this kind of video. This was fun. It was a good break away from MLS content, which, like I said, if you love MLS, be sure you guys subscribe down below. We're going to be covering MLS preview this weekend, maybe like Friday we'll do an MLS preview. And then, of course, we're going to try and do MLS Mondays, which is a recap of the MLS weekend, and just talk about, you know, how the games went, biggest game, biggest loss, whatever. You got to be there to find out what it is. But of course, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for kicking with me, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.